we met in Beijing in 2000. I came at end of 2011. I was one of the the international entrepreneurs there with the Lean Startup Meetup and everything happening there. Fast forward a few years. Now I do niche website investing and flipping, basically working remotely, buying websites, also showing people how to do that so they can do the same, finding something that they love, operate that, make money remotely, travel the world, live wherever they want. That's what I want to support to make people happier. So that's my thing.
Yeah, so how did you get into that at the start?
So I've been doing financial coaching with my brand Free Financial Self. And let's say all my adult life, I think I've been looking at different investment. It really got me, I was really interested in these things. So I started with the regular, normal things like stock portfolio and real estate and things like that. And then I moved to more of interesting things like P2P, crowd investing, a little bit of crypto. And I knew that you can buy websites for years. I just never got to that because it seems too sketchy. And then about 3 years ago, I looked into that again and found out that, yeah, it's really something that's possible to do. The returns are great. The cash flow is around 30% a year, and before the appreciation of the digital asset. So so why not? So it took me about 4 or 5 months to find my first website. I bought a total of 4 websites. One of them I sold, and basically now I'm holding 3 websites and my own brand as well, freefinancialself.com. So that's the more of the consulting and guiding and teaching about website flipping and SaaS projects. And that's been going on for almost 3 years now.
Yeah, it seems like a really big opportunity in this space, and it's also great to receive your emails. You send some really cool updates about what you're up to and some of the projects and some of the opportunities there are. And how do you think how would you introduce it to a beginner? Like, what's the opportunities in buying websites?
So you can look at it from a few angles. The most regular, normal one is this is like an investment or something you can operate either as a main thing or a hustle or something on the side, like a side project, and make money off of it. However, I introduce it more as a twist, and as I said, finding something you love, because there are endless websites out there and every person can find something at the topic that they know about and love, and then operate that either a short term, so that's a flip, or a long term as a whole business, and live off this. And people are looking, for either extra income, or they don't have income and they're looking for something new to do. So they're looking at these kind of websites. I just had a call right before our call with someone who was on my workshop. They're actually 2 guys, and they're kind of thinking, okay, what's our next step? Where are we going with this? So they're now looking into this as part of something that they want to do, and they both have day jobs, but at some point they're going to move on, and they're kind of preparing the next step for themselves.
So it seems like where does someone start if they want to get into buying websites, or how would they go about researching or finding opportunities?
So there are really many places to start, and there are always people who are the main people at the space. You can either go to my channel, of course, that's on YouTube/freefinancialself at youtube.com/freefinancialself. However, you can go on Facebook groups. There is a guy, his name is Mushfik, and you can go to his website, thewebsiteflip.com. There is another guy, Niche Surfer. This guy I know from Beijing, from China, Yoyao, and I think it's nichesurfer.com. And there are lots of Discord groups that you can join in, and there are different, let's say, expertise. So some people are into the website flipping, some people are more into the newsletter side. This is something I'm looking into now. So there are really a lot of angles to look into this, and a lot of information floating out in the internet around this. You need to find the right ones to look at, and of course it's an ongoing process for learning new things and new skills, and then implementing them at the businesses that you buy and operate.
Yeah. Do you think it's because it's just like buying an internet business and then finding some way to transform or make it better? Is that the main strategy behind it?
So it depends on what you do, what you on the website, but or what you choose to do with it. However, you can look at it as real estate. So you're improving. Let's say you're building another room for an apartment, and then there is appreciation of the asset. So it's the same thing. This is what you want to do. So you want to increase the cash flow. We're talking about websites most of the time that already make money and have cash flow coming in and also have traffic. So you have something already capital to work with because you got this cash flow coming in, and then some of you reinvest into the business and hopefully growing it to get the cash flow up, and then hence the asset appreciates basically. Either you flip it quickly because you find something called easy win. So let's say you change to an ad network or something like that, and then instantly you can make 10-20% more each month. Or you can hold it long term and say, I operate this website long term. Let's say then you can also buy another website related to that niche and then connect it or funnel people to your old website. So it really depends what you want to do and what's your strategy. I look at it more as a portfolio kind of thing. So I like to hold a few of those. So if one website gets hit for some reason from Google, I also have the others.
Could you share more about the kind of websites, like which ones you've got?
Sure. I hold a bunch of websites. First of all, when we talk about niche website, the most, let's say, obvious, plain, classic one is a pure content website. It has text with posts in it, talking about a certain niche. There's usually information and some posts about buying guides that send you either to affiliate offers, and there's money made from the ads there. This was the first website that I bought, and this is in the about roofs. That's one of my websites. I hold another website which is a quotes platform. It's called ownquotes.com, and this one is more of people who want to coin their own quotes. So it's not famous quotes, but there are almost 200,000 quotes on that website and good traffic. I bought it because I thought it was under monetized, and I still see a lot of potential in that. I already increased the value, I think, more than 100% in the last 3-4 months since I bought it. And then my recent acquisition is a no-code platform. It's nocodehub.com. And this one is about no-code projects. It's a database where it's a directory, basically. And I'm going to put no-code jobs there and other no-code projects. It's still a fairly new one, less than a month, so I'm still growing it. It's also on a no-code platform, so it's something completely new for me. So I'm also learning that. And then there is my website, Free Financial Self, where I do my consulting and coaching and guiding and workshops. That's basically it. And I'm always looking for more deals. I see dozens of deals every month, every week. And some of those I cover on those videos that you mentioned.
Yeah, I remember I had a few friends who used to buy and sell domains, and I saw there's a lot of potential from that because domains is just like real estate, isn't it? Especially if you can get a good .com or a good domain, and especially if you can get all the different combinations, and it's always so valuable because there's such a limited number of possible websites that people can buy, and so the good names are going to go up in value all the time.
When I'm talking about niche website investing, I'm mainly talking about already exist websites and not so much domain investing, although of course it is related. And if you have a good domain name for the website you already acquired, good for you. That's definitely an option. And there is, of course, just like you said, people who just do domain investing. I know a guy, he's holding around 300 domains. And he's doing really well, and that's everything he does. Just website, just domains, plain domains, no websites, no operating, things like that. It's let's say a different thing.
Yeah, it's different. It's kind of like an extension of it, or it's like it's kind of related in some way.
To put it, yes.
Because it's actually like a business that is on the land, isn't it? And that you're buying. So you could do something different with it, or you can upgrade the house. It's really similar to real estate, right?
Definitely.
I'm curious about why do people want to sell it? It's just many different reasons. Some people may have bought it and then got it to that level and then they're selling it. I guess you have to be, or what do you think?
Really, so first of all, your point is correct. Some people just get it to a certain point and then they say, okay, I got it to where my skills are. It's ready for the next person. And that's okay. That's really okay. Some people are just too tired of their website. They're just sick of the topic or whatever, or they're just too tired and they say, okay, I'm ready to give it, to sell it to someone else. Actually, the no code project that I bought was bought on a garage sale of no code projects. It's a very small project, but still, it's people who stopped working on a project and now they're ready to sell it onwards to somebody who'd take over. But there are also other reasons. Sometimes the market, a website got hit. It doesn't make as much money as it used to be. People want to get rid of it. Actually, there was in December a Google update and lots of websites got hit. And there's a lot of websites on the market that got hit right now. Add that to the point that the economy is not doing that great. So it's definitely a buyer's market right now. There are a lot of websites out there at the good valuations, or let's say low costs relatively, because of those reasons.
Yeah, I'm curious what would have about how to go about it, because I would imagine the important part is to be able to fairly evaluate it and to make sure it's sustainably operating at that level of income, and to understand the level of work that goes into it. How easy is it to do that?
So there is a standard, let's say this, usually websites are sold at 30x to 45x of their net cash flow after expenses. Usually there aren't too many expenses to a website. Or some expenses you can basically write off because they count as an investment, as a one-time thing. But the ongoing ones, usually it's almost nothing. It's domain and hosting most of the time. Sometimes you have plugins and stuff like that. So that's the general number, the general rule of thumb. And then the multiplier depends on on how's the website doing. It will have a lower multiplier on a downtrend, or if it's let's say most of the traffic just goes to a couple of pages or maybe only one page. It means that it's only ranking for several keywords and not many keywords. So then you need to learn and understand, okay, what's the right thing for this website if you're not paying too much. I now know for the first website I bought, I probably overpaid. Okay, it's something I've learned over time when looking in all these on so many deals. But that's okay. It's part of the process and part of learning and improving. A website that makes a net of $1,000 would be sold for $30,000 to $45,000 roughly. That's about the number.
Cool. It makes me interested and want to have a look into what these into it a bit more. I had a bit of a look a few years ago on Flipper, and I think a few of these websites, because I can imagine there's also opportunities for people who already have businesses to buy related businesses and then kind of merge it or bring it in.
This is something I talk about all the time. So instead of investing in paid ads as example, you buy a marketing channel, you buy another website with the traffic you're already interested in, and then funnel it to your business. That's definitely a good strategy. So it might cost more in the short term, but it's going to cost less on the long term.
Yeah, that's a huge trend, isn't it? With businesses, like content creation and businesses, they solve each other's problems, right? Because businesses need to get more customers, but it's actually becoming more competitive to acquire customers using established digital channels. And so it makes sense to buy content related businesses for established business.
Let's take example my roofing website. So it will be for a roofing company buying this because I'm sending leads to roofers on that website, so they can buy that and then brand it the way they want and then funnel people either to the website or just the two websites separate, but they're still holding another asset, which basically brings in the same kind of people that they're interested in.
Yeah, my cousin has a roofing company in UK.
Really?
So
let's strike a deal.
That's interesting. Yeah, I don't know if there could be any synergies. Is the traffic related to UK?
I have some UK, but most
is it global?
Is US.
Yeah. So what do you think of the? Definitely have a look into that and into that more. How do you see it developing right now? Do you see there's more opportunities now compared to before?
Listen, there are always changes in the market. Since I started, things have changed. So two main changes. One is what I mentioned about how the market is doing because of the Google update and what's going on with the economy. The other one that everybody are talking about is artificial intelligence, AI, writing content with AI, how will that influence search, and how will that influence the content websites? The way to mitigate these is not relying only on search traffic, only on Google, but building a moat. That's how you call it. Building a moat around your traffic. So build a newsletter, build the social media channels. So the traffic would not only come from organic. You have other ways to keep the clients or keep the users with you. This is one of the first things I've done with the roofing website, building a mailing list, basically. And that was 2.5 years ago. But there are many ways to strengthen website and make the users come back. So that's definitely a trend there right now.
Yeah, it seems really interesting how you can kind of bring people back into the business, or you can try, and newsletter marketing seems a really big area as well.
Yes, definitely.
It's something we use quite a lot. It seems very effective. It's something that a lot of people don't really think about, I think.
What, building the newsletter, you mean?
Yeah, I think in China, a lot of people are not looking at it. I think it's a different market in China compared to the West, because I think people definitely newsletter a lot more around the world compared to in China. But
nobody uses
it's definitely a very powerful strategy, isn't it? Yeah. So, what do you think of looking at those, and what are your kind of plans for it in the future? How do you plan to develop it in the future?
So I do want to hold a larger portfolio of larger websites. I would probably at some point get to hold probably 2 or 3 to 5 bigger websites, because it's not necessarily a lot more work to hold a bigger website with better cash flow. So it makes sense. It's just a matter of how much you can invest at the beginning and be confident with it, because there is always a risk that traffic goes away, that you did something wrong, just like any business. For me, I feel that I'm not there yet, but of course, I'm growing in size and hope to grow the websites that I already have. Maybe sell them at some point. I'm not sure yet. It's yet to say. I sold so far only one website. Unfortunately, it was at a loss, and this is due to the reason that I realized that website was a few reasons actually. I didn't like the niche, and also it was too small for me, so I wasn't really interested in it. And I saw that it's actually the traffic was because of that trending down. Eventually, I sold it as a loss. There was some cash flow from affiliate marketing, but fine. I just said goodbye and you move on. That's okay. That's part of the game.
How do you allocate time to these? Because does it take up much time to manage these? How do you allocate to the different projects that you have?
Good question on this. You don't have to work on a website daily. Okay, you can run a website with a few hours a week. There will be more work at the beginning, but once you have the systems going, you're able to operate it at basically a few hours a week. I don't think it will ever be completely passive, but you definitely leverage your time at some point on this. I have now 4 businesses. Some of them are more of, they're not idle, but not as much work like the roofing one. Some are more work, like the no-code one. The workshops is definitely something that I'm now working mostly on and building that further. I do have a VA, a virtual assistant, that helps me a lot with this, so that's definitely helpful. So I can't really tell you, the hours, how much I work on each one. It really depends. I only work part-time. We do homeschooling, so I'm half of the time I'm with my daughters, and the rest of the time basically working on what I just mentioned.
Cool. And is that for the hours for these projects, is it mostly about kind of rebuilding it and then creating content and just any improvements being made?
It's more of an operational side, so I don't write content, but I do use either AI content platforms or use somebody as a content writer. There are some tweaks to do on the website, improving the forums so they will convert better. With the no-code one, we're currently adding more projects into this, so it has now around 40 or 50, and we want to grow it to around 350. That's more work there. With the quotes one, we're turning it into a SaaS. So I hope that's a whole thing. So we're basically now working on, it's more of thinking and, making plans for it than actually doing it. So we're at that stage now, and then we'll execute whatever we decide, whatever we're working on. But it's basically now writing documents in this for what's going to happen. I don't always do it, but with this particular one, I do.
That's, it's quite amazing, because you can imagine these kind of things could just keep growing, and they could get really big in the future. Or it seems like there could be a lot of potential in any one of those businesses, right?
And you can pick something that you're interested
in. With the internet.
Something that you love. Not that roof is my thing, but that's from back then. And
Yeah, it's amazing because with the internet, anyone who has any kind of interest, if it's like peanut butter, you can find some business related to that specific niche,
recipes,
right?
You find baking, you find websites only on types of glue. Really, you see all these kind of things.
Yeah.
Ice makers. I've seen so many weird
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, especially with content. It's amazing how you can create really specific niche content and then it can attract really specific things.
Definitely.
And how it works with the internet like never before. It's the amazing thing about it, isn't it?
Definitely.
It's quite interesting as well now because interested to ask what do you think about the remote work lifestyle, because I think you've been talking about this you've been living it for quite a few years, and now it's becoming more and more mainstream. It's becoming there's been a huge wave during COVID where I think I was reading about 30% of people in London and New York are working remote or working from home. How do you see it at the moment? You spent some time as a digital nomad, or as they call it, digital nomad, would you say it? And
what do you think? I am location
it's
dependent.
just the new normal, right? It's the new wave.
It's definitely is. Listen, I'm location dependent since 2015. I think since we left Beijing. Since then, we're fully location dependent. We could have before, but we're really since then. So it's now 8 years. It's been really weird to stay at home and, not going to the office. And now, as you said, it's like, it's a thing. Everybody do it. I see this as really future of work. This is how people should live, with flexible lifestyle of where they want, how they want, and do most of the work asynchronous versus having, going on meetings, going to the office only when you have to. I think it's a good balance. I would like, and I am promoting this kind of lifestyle because I think it's right for people for being more productive and happier with their lives, basically. I didn't hear the number 30%, so I can't comment on this. I don't know. I did hear of a company, I don't remember which one, but that was a while ago, that when they said, so they announced back to the office policy after COVID, and then 30% of the company's employees left right afterwards because they weren't happy with this announcement. So yeah, things definitely change.
Yeah, I think with our company, we've been mostly based in Beijing before COVID, and after COVID, we're now mostly remote, well, completely remote company. It's working for us. It seems like a more efficient way, but it needs it depends how it works, but it needs a different management style, a different way of managing, but I think it's much more efficient and easier. But some people, especially younger in their career, they need more experience. I think it's harder for those kind of people to develop when they're an earlier stage of the career. I think it's really important to be in a community, maybe in a city where in a community where there are lots of events and they can meet lots of people, especially earlier in the career.
Interesting. You're saying this even though, so not people at the company they work for, but still people who work around them to understand how this works, so they have this environment.
Yeah, like similar to the events we had in Beijing, the startup events. I think it doesn't necessarily need to be the same people, but I think it depends on the industry, and I think if it depends on the kind of company and the kind of industry as well, because obviously like a manufacturing company can't be remote, but it depends on the kind of website or kind of business, right?
For sure, but many of the things nowadays you can do remote. There is transition period, of course, and you need to kind of rekindle, as we say, the company's culture, that it's okay not to be at the office. It's okay to not being available all the time and just doing async work. And you need those systems, either backend systems or SaaS or whatever support that you have for communicating around work, that can support this kind of management. But it's possible.
Yeah, cheers Shlomo. So it's great to chat, and be good to keep in touch, and also have a look at made me interested to check out some of the websites.
Sure. Glad to be here. Thank you very much.
And,
I invite you to visit my website
appreciate
on YouTube and be in touch and answer questions if people have, for sure.
Yeah, sure. So if people want to learn more about what you're doing, or if they want to get in touch, how can they do that?
Let's say you can go to my website, freefinancialself.com, And you can look me up on LinkedIn, my name, Shlomo Freund, or on Twitter, I'm Freund Shlomo, at Freund Shlomo, or the YouTube channel, that's youtube.com/free financial self. That's the brand name, where I publish the content about the listings and teaching people about how to invest and find websites to operate and make money from.
Great, thanks, Shlomo. So we'll put the links in the
Awesome.
description.
Thank you. I want to mention, by the way, that I have a workshop coming up at March 12th. I don't know when this will air, but if that's going to air on time, then please get in touch. I'll give you a link. You can join the workshop.
Yeah, sure. Hopefully soon in the next couple of days it'll be published.
Okay.
So,
Sounds
cheers,
good.
Shlomo.
Thank you.
Great to talk.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice evening.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye-bye.